First tonight, sports betting is slowing down in the Buckeye State. New data shows there was a decrease in sports betting for the month of February. Clara Faith is live in studio tonight. What are experts telling you about this, Clara?
The American Gaming Association tell me Ohioans placed $1.7 billion worth of bets in its first month, but it dropped 40% in February. David Foreman, Vice President of Research, shared why this is happening. So take a listen.
One has to do with the sports calendar. The NFL season ended. The other half probably being attributed to a decline in promotional spending and bonus offers by operators.
And is this normal for other states, Clara?
Well, yes, Adam, this is normal. Other states like New Jersey and Pennsylvania seen a decline nearly 20%. Now back to you.
All right, Clara, thank you. Well, at least 3 people are injured after a crash involving a car and an RTA bus in Dayton. Now, this happened just after 5:15 near Lexington Avenue and Rosedale Drive. The 3 people who were injured were taken to Grandview Medical Center. We're still working to learn their conditions. As we learn more, we'll update you on air and online. Well, you may remember a week ago today, 2 Brookville women were found deep within a national forest in New Mexico after being stranded for 50 hours. One of those women sat down with Milena Brown to talk about that experience.
After getting their rental car stuck in the mud in the forest, I'm told it took a combination of survival instincts, faith, and a team of law enforcement working to find them. Robin Bodine told me today that she and her friend Tracy Shue walked over 20 miles in the 2 days that they were stranded and even found a cabin to sleep in. But faith led them back to their car where they were finally found.
Are you faithful? Did faith play a role? Can you talk about that?
Yeah. It's funny, we didn't talk a whole lot, on this journey, and because people will ask me, what did you guys talk about? And I'm like, we were exhausted, we were in so much pain, and I think when we did talk, it was solely about faith, and it was praying.
Robin and Troy Bodine, her husband, both extend their thanks and gratitude to everyone involved getting her and Tracy Shue home, saying no words are truly big enough. For Dayton 24/7 Now News, I'm Milena Brown.
All right, Milena, thanks. Well, let's talk some good news tonight as well. We're talking about the weather. Tim is here now. Natalie leaves, the sun comes out. I don't know if it's a coincidence. We'll have to ask her about that.
It may not be a coincidence. It may be a coincidence, but I'll take it because
absolutely,
I love sunshine.
Who doesn't?
It might be boring to some, but I love it. Plenty of sunshine is in the forecast. We do have, some moisture moving off to the east for us, but a little break in the clouds right now, and that'll continue through the night tonight. But zooming out, you can see this entire system just all the way down to Texas, up through Memphis, Washington, New York, Boston, up into Maine. But that's going to continue to move out, and we're going to have high pressure set into the region, which is going to give us some very nice weather over the next week with warm temperatures. But taking a look at your ride forecast, if you want to get out and ride tomorrow, going to be chilly in the morning, but you got a few layers on in the afternoon. We're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, close to 60 with the more sunshine we get. And then kids going back to school for the last day of the week tomorrow, Friday. Going to start off cold. Going to need a light jacket when you're heading out there, but by the afternoon, temperatures once again climbing up into the upper 50s to near 60 degrees. So plenty of sunshine. It's going to be a nice Friday afternoon.
Tim, thanks. Services were held for a Hamilton County officer who was killed in the line of duty. Springfield Township officer Tim Unwin died after his cruiser collided with another car last Friday. The driver of that other car also died. Here's some of what the Springfield Township Police Chief said at the funeral today.
Tim, we saw you with that rainbow over our PD last Friday when you died. We heard your thunder yesterday at church. We get it. We know you love us. And we love you too. But rest easy, because we all got this.
Hundreds of law enforcement officers showed up to pay their respects to their fallen brother. One by one, lifelong friends of Officer Unwin got up to speak in front of that packed house, sharing their most vivid memories. Now, many more were there to attend the procession of Officer Unwin as well. Officers from several agencies across the state, including here in Kettering, were there for that 7-mile procession, and even Springdale's chief attended. This after going through the same for one of his officers, Kaya Grant, back in 2020.
As one of the reasons we show up in such numbers for these things is because we all realize it could have been any one of us. And so to be there to support the family and show that family the love and support, they've shared their loved one with us, and it's only right for us to return and show that love to them as well as support each other.
Hundreds of members of the public turning out to pay their respects. They were there to honor Officer Unwin and all those who preceded him.
This was important to you.
Yeah, because, I mean, there's too many of them. This is about the third or fourth one I've been through that, you know, they come up through here, Corrine Township and Mount Healthy and all of them and everything. So it's just too many of them are happening.
This procession ended at Arlington Memorial Gardens, where Officer Unwin was laid to rest. Continuing coverage following the indictment of former President Donald Trump. Now, Stormy Daniels, the woman at the center of the Trump indictment, says she will testify against the former president if asked to do so.
It's daunting, but I look forward to it. You know what I mean? Because I have nothing to hide. I'm the only one that has been telling the truth. And, you know, you can't shame me any even more.
Daniels talked about Trump's arrest and arraignment in an exclusive interview on Piers Morgan Uncensored today. She also commented on the former president's charges, saying she doesn't believe the 76-year-old deserves to spend time in prison if found guilty.
I don't think that his crimes against me are worthy of incarceration. I feel like the other things that he has done, if he is found guilty, absolutely.
Now, apart from the 34 felony counts of falsifying business records, the former president is also under scrutiny for allegedly meddling in Georgia's elections. And the Justice Department appointed a special counsel to review his handling of classified documents and his alleged efforts to interfere with the 2020 election. Republican Representative Jim Jordan taking to Twitter tonight after subpoenaing a prosecutor who once worked with Manhattan District Attorney's Office. Now, Jordan says Mike Pomerantz's role in the Trump probe makes him relevant to the committee's investigation into Alvin Bragg. Jordan also claims Pomerantz's memoir reveals the political motivations behind Bragg's investigation. Now, Pomerantz published that book after he resigned from the DA's office last year, and in it, he criticized Bragg for not charging the former president sooner. And Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg responded to Jordan's subpoena. Bragg is accusing House Republicans of undermining his probe into the former president. He's calling them out, saying they had a campaign of, quote, harassment and intimidation. Pomerantz's deposition date has been set for April 20th. Friends hosting a benefit tonight as they rally around the lone survivor in a Claremont County murder-suicide. Morella Porter has the latest on that young woman's recovery.
Samantha Kane has come a long way since the fateful day in February that took the rest of her family. She still has a ways to go, but her friends are making sure she is not alone, hosting a benefit, raffling off dozens of items to make sure she's taken care of.
We're really just trying to raise money for any kind of expenses that Samantha might have at the end of all of this. She's currently doing a lot better than what was predicted, but we're trying to make sure that she has as much financial support as possible for when she needs it.
Kane was the only one who made it out of her family home alive the morning of February 27th. Claremont County investigators believe her mother shot her dad, brother, and grandfather before turning the gun on herself. Deputies had arrived to serve an eviction notice just before the shooting. Samantha was shot in the head and nearly lost her life. Friends of the NKU sophomore say she is now in a rehab center. While she still cannot talk, she is making facial expressions and typing out words, which her friends say is incredible progress.
And that was Morella Porter reporting tonight. A former Beaver Creek DARE officer was sentenced to over 15 years in prison, all for child pornography crimes. 60-year-old Kevin Kovacs was arrested back in April of 2020. He pleaded guilty that same year to transporting and possessing child pornography. Once his sentence is over, Kovacs will be under supervised release for 15 years and is ordered to pay $46,000 in restitution to those victims. Also tonight, a Preble County woman has been arrested and charged with trafficking meth. Investigators say a canine was alerted to the odor of narcotics in a vehicle during a traffic stop. Deputies then searched, found approximately 105 grams of suspected meth in a cereal box. 34-year-old Samantha Gardner, you see here, is now in the Preble County Jail facing several charges. The Centerville Police Department taking to Facebook tonight to warn people all about an increase in vehicle thefts. Thieves are targeting vehicles with purses, backpacks, other items of value left in plain sight. They're urging everyone to be aware and take action like simply locking your cars to prevent yourself from being the next victim. And violence is on the rise across Columbus tonight. This month alone, there have been 5 homicides since April 1st. Some are wondering what's being done to bring the numbers down. Isabel Hansen talked with the Columbus Police Chief and Assistant Chief about what the department is doing to prevent more homicides.
Columbus Police Chief Elaine Bryant says the department specifically seeing an increase in homicides at after-hours clubs and deaths from domestic violence. In 2022, she says the department investigated a total of 7 domestic violence homicides. This year, they've already surpassed that number. Chief Bryant says they're working with domestic violence advocates at local hospitals. She also wants the community to know officers want to help before there's violence or a homicide.
A lot of these incidents aren't random. A lot of these are not random victims. A lot of these are acquaintances. A lot of these are people that have had arguments with people, lack of conflict resolution. So I would say that we have to do our part to make sure that we're ensuring the streets are safe, but the community has to do their part as well and stay vigilant.
Chief Bryant says officers are also taking more guns off the streets, almost 900 so far this year. In Columbus, I'm Isabel Hansen.
A new federal rule change that could lower restrictions on transgender athletes. Why critics say this could contradict Title IX protections. Also, local World War II vet celebrating his 100th birthday today. How the community joined together to make his big day even more special.
I'll have your forecast coming up. We have plenty of sunshine and warm weather ahead. I'll time it all out for you. Here's a look at your Eco Plumber Skycam. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now.
Thousands of demonstrators crowding the Tennessee Capitol in Nashville today to protest the expulsion of 2 Democratic representatives. Now, the House voted to expel Representatives Justin Pearson and Justin Jones. Republican lawmakers say the 2 engaged in disorderly behavior when they led gun reform chants from the House podium with a megaphone. Representative Gloria Johnson also took part, but the chamber failed to oust her by 1 vote.
To the nation, keep watching. We are losing our democracy. We need to make sure that we stomp out this march to fascism. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, and we cannot forget that. Eyes on everything, folks. It might have to do with the color of our skin.
Republicans deny that race was a factor. The 2 expelled lawmakers may not be gone for long. County commissioners in their districts get to pick replacements to serve until a special election can be scheduled, and they may also be eligible to run in that special election as well. A new law regarding voting going into effect tomorrow. Voters will now need ID to cast their ballots. Proof of address, like utility bills, will no longer be accepted. Voters will need to bring an Ohio driver's license or a state-issued ID, U.S. passport, or a military ID when they go vote. Early absentee voting began earlier this week with the May primary on the 2nd of that month. The Biden administration has proposed a new federal rule change that would let schools enforce some restrictions on transgender athletes. If it's made law, no school receiving federal funding could prevent a transgender athlete from competing on teams consistent with their gender identity. Any proposed limits would need to consider the sport, level of competition, and age group. Now, critics claim it will threaten the protections biological women receive under Title IX.
It violates everything Title IX was supposed to protect. For more than half a century now, Title IX has stood to protect the rights of all students, including the right of women and girls to compete fairly in sports.
Now, at least 16 states currently have bans covering at least high school sports. A bill that would require schools to designate separate teams for each sex has been introduced in the State House and is currently being discussed in a committee.
Alrighty, some high clouds out there right now across the region, but those will continue to move out of the region as we go through the night tonight. Maybe some higher clouds through the afternoon on Friday and into the overnight hours, but generally we're looking at a pretty nice day Friday. Plenty of sunshine, high clouds out there, but Saturday looking even better. We're talking about completely clear conditions, sunshine, beautiful, temperatures climbing into the low 60s, so going to be a nice weekend. Sunday, much of the same. We're talking about temperatures climbing into the mid 60s. It's going to be a really nice Easter. Get out there for those egg hunts in the morning, but car wash forecast this weekend and honestly into this week. We're going to have a very, very nice week. High pressure taking over, so get out and get the car washed Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday through next week. Anytime you want to. It's going to be beautiful. Get outside and mow the lawn. Anything outdoors, you'll want to get out there and do it.
Tim, thanks. In the U.S. Capitol, the fight over TikTok continues. U.S. lawmakers are weighing how to ban the Chinese video streaming app amid claims Beijing is using it to swipe user data. One of the bills U.S. lawmakers put forward to do just that, getting big pushback from libertarian and civil rights groups.
The law is so broad and ambiguous that when you're targeting any risk connected to any adversary nation with all of these pervasive technologies, well, it just opens it up and it makes it ripe for abuse.
The Restrict Act is written in a way that allows the Commerce Secretary to start playing that cat and mouse game, which just goes to the breadth and therefore risk of Congress giving this kind of power to executive agencies.
That Senate bill gives the executive branch wide latitude in determining penalties for those not complying with bans as well. TikTok is fighting hard against a similar bill in Montana and is trying to relocate its data to Texas to satisfy concerns. Also, many civil liberty groups are arguing against the idea of banning TikTok altogether. They suggest regulating how much data big tech companies, including Chinese-controlled tech platforms, can extract from users. Right now, no such rules exist, and that's a problem, some say, because that data can be made available to anyone through auction, including to China.
There is little doubt that this much location data out there for sale to anyone is available to a country like China with all its resources and sophisticated intelligence apparatuses. So when people say, oh, the TikTok app is like the Chinese spy balloon in your pocket, well, so is every other app.
One bill called the American Data Privacy and Protection Act promises to do just that, but experts argue it would negate all state-based laws meant to rein in the data extraction industry. All right, take a look at this. Widespread damage is left behind and at least 5 people were killed after a tornado hit Missouri. A state highway patrol official says at least 5 more were hurt. Dozens of buildings are damaged, with some destroyed there. Governor Mike Parson of Missouri took a look at the damage and says the tornado had a big impact on the state.
I think when you look at the devastation of this, it's going to be weeks upon months to be able to recover. It's a long journey ahead for the people that live here.
Now, the governor also said the president has offered to help however he can. Well, this was a look at downtown Dayton earlier today. The sun didn't quite shine through the clouds until later in the afternoon and early evening, but at least that stormy weather is gone. Tim is in for Natalie tonight, and Tim, we're going to have a nice stretch of sun, aren't we?
All right, it is starting to get cold out on the Watson's weather patio. Feeling a little bit chilly. We were in the 50s earlier, but we are now sliding down into the 30s. Most of us sitting right at 42 in Dayton, but 36 out towards Richmond and Wapakoneta, 37 out in Greenville, and 38 in Springfield. Temperatures will continue to drop through the night. Pretty cold considering what we were yesterday. 22 degrees colder right now in Middletown than it was this time yesterday. 19 degrees colder in Dayton, and then 16 degrees colder out in Richmond. But the next couple days, next 5 days, we're going to see a gradual temperature increase. We're talking temperatures right around 60 on Friday and Saturday. But a ridge of high pressure is coming in. We're going to have plenty of sunshine, and these temperatures will be hitting the upper 60s, even mid to upper 70s as we move past Tuesday and into next week.
A local decorated World War II vet celebrating his 100th birthday. The sights and sounds from that celebration next. You're watching Dayton 24/7 now. The Dayton Public School District showing off the progress it's made on the renovation of Welcome Stadium. Today, school officials, they signed a beam that was then placed on the new press box.
That symbolizes basically that we're nearing the end of the project for the press box to be completed. So Welcome Stadium is really coming together in a great way, finishing up this project and making sure that it's ready for our students for next fall, for our football season. So we're very, very excited today about that. Our students deserve to have a facility that they're proud of. They deserve to have the experiences that other students have around us.
Now, this has been a long time coming. In 2016, changes were first proposed, but it was delayed due to a lack of funding. Work began after winning a 2020 lawsuit with a multi-million-dollar settlement. So far, the track, turf, stands and steps, ramps for handicap access, and a maintenance building are all done. The concession stands, locker rooms, and Hall of Fame will be finished in August. Today, a local decorated World War II vet celebrated his 100th birthday. Lydia Bice went to that birthday parade, is live in studio, so tell us more about the celebration.
Yeah, Adam, the community brought the birthday party celebration to Army veteran Richard Guard. The West Carrollton Police and Fire Departments, West Carrollton High School Marching Band, and the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office all took part in wishing him a happy birthday outside of his home. Guard has been awarded the Silver Star, Bronze Star, and 2 Purple Hearts. He was overseas during the Second World War from 1943 to 1945 and even fought in the Battle of the Bulge, which earned him a Silver Star. Guard was injured during that time, and after recuperating in a hospital in England, he was almost sent back out to combat when the war ended. A few years later, he was called back into service to train troops in Alabama for the Korean War.